Whoa, yo, man, this is the earliest broadcast we've ever done.
Well, exciting.
Top of the morning to you. MarketVitals.io. Market Vitals, the live stream. Please retweet the live stream. Matt, it's early. It's early for us, but a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, lots happening. We're moving a little bit, just a little bit.
We got a little bit of movement, a little bit of possible back and forth activity. For sure in individual stocks, we got some reversion happening. Before we get that, though, Matt, it happened, Matt. Gavin Newsom has screwed the pooch so bad they got, what was the number? It was like 1.3 million signatures.
No, 1.7. They were a swell half, 300, 500,000 more than they needed. So I guess it's going to be Gavin and Caitlin, or Gavin and whomever, like you said, Arnold. Yeah, there you go.
I'll be back. Nobody knew that he was talking about being the governor of California again.
Like California.
There's a whole lot of people, I think.
Isn't he? Yeah, I guess he could run on the Democratic side now because he's flipped. He's totally a Democrat.
Now, Matt, just because he was pro-environment doesn't mean that he was a Democrat.
No. He is a Democrat. He was, married to the Kennedys. He's a Democrat. He's a Democrat.
You think he would? Think he got that Republican card just to piss off the family?
Probably worked.
All right, and we got some shaking and moving going on in France too.
Yeah, the generals are talking about no more of this shit, Macron. Otherwise, we're going to come in and strip you of your services. So,
nothing like a good old-fashioned French Revolution.
I mean, that's what they're saying. But there's a lot going on. You got the whole Miramar, thing happening still, and Obama's throwing his hat in there because he was supporting these the monarchy there before, and so now he's piping up on his chit chat, which I'm like, why are you? He's
he's on the show. Let's just call it where it is.
Yeah,
Uncle Joe, Grandpa Joe's not.
Well, who was it? I think I saw a clip of Hannity saying, "We're not going to call it the Biden administration. We're just going to call it the administration or the White House," or because clearly he's not. We can't, in good faith, say that he's running the show. I mean, that's exactly what he said. He said, "So we're not going to say the Biden administration anymore."
All right, Matt, you shared this. Is it throwback uniforms? No, it's actually throwback look.
It's the 1970s
look.
I was watching the Cubs game. Yeah, I was watching the Cubs game last night, and I'm like, I was seriously thrown back to 1975 watching the game. Of course, my 70-inch TV didn't exist then, but
exactly, Andrew Chafin.
But I got way too close, and that was the picture I took with my cell phone. So I was tired of seeing that guy.
We just brought up the 70s sports, right?
Yeah.
With who was it? With
Mike Schmidt.
Mike Schmidt with the hair, the beautiful locks blossoming out.
With the Sunday cup. Yeah.
When you shared it, I immediately thought of the Russell brothers, famous Chicago Cub pitchers.
Rick
Russell. I forget what his brother. Good old farm boys.
I think it was Rick and Larry.
I don't know. Anyway, fantastic trip down memory lane. Oh, but it was last night. We have the 70s are coming.
Cubs lose, by the way.
Holy cow. I can't believe what I just saw. Send up another Falstaff. All right, Matt, let's talk.
Well, wait, they were playing the Braves in Atlanta. So what's the local schlock beer down there in Atlanta? I don't even know.
I don't even know either.
It probably is Falstaff.
All right, let me share here because Tesla came out with earnings, and I like the thread. The latest two or top two from Zero Hedge. Tesla made $100 million in 1 month trading crypto, more than it has ever made selling cars in 14 years. Obviously credits. It should just shut all the car making and become a full-time trading desk.
Yeah, shut it down. I agree.
I like that one. And then our friend Shy Girl, she says, I have said this for years. Tesla is a carbon credit trading company. they've never made money on cars.
Yeah.
And then she's responding to this. Looks like Tesla lost 80 million in the quarter, excluding the massive 518 million regulatory credit on sales. Unbelievable.
Subsidized businesses do well. I mean, you've talked about it in the ag side for a long time, right? You get paid not to grow, don't you? Often.
For sure. The government has, so let's, right now on the daily, Matt, very important price area for me, that lower momentum level. Not only is it an important level if they close below that lower momentum level, but those bands are flat enough that it's going to get very reactive to downward price action, meaning that those
I thought
bands.
you were going to say downward dog. Okay.
Downward dog. We'll do some yoga later in the studio to finish out our trading day on mindset. Definitely mindset.
Please no
anyway,
Bob.
All I'm telling you is if this closes below this momentum
Lululemon,
level,
please.
Matt, that's not good. And not only that, you're going to get a reactive lines here. And I guarantee you they will start sloping down. That's 704.11 is that level. They've peaked below it. They're trading 708 right now. And obviously, I know on the profile, this will show up this recent low of 691. Why don't you jump in and take it over and tell me what you think Tesla?
Sure. Happy to.
I love your hat today, Matt. It's green. And so the top of your head keeps disappearing.
Yeah. That's, CGI problems. Like the Oscars had all kinds of people disappearing behind Scarlett Johansson. It was a weird one. Yeah, it's ugly, but it's, it's kind of not, it's just hanging in the range where it should. Down $30, down 4%, but it's not even taking out last week's lows, let alone 2-week lows. So, you probably could buy it in here.
I mean, this is a,
if I look,
I don't like the way the bands are rounding for me.
I look back on a, older chart that had a few trend lines, which, aren't really here for anything anymore, but, I don't know. It still looks okay, really, for me, as long as it stays above, 670, maybe even 660. So on the longer term chart, it still looks pretty bullish. And if they're going to be that good at trading Bitcoin and taking Bitcoin for their cars, as long as Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's on a dead cat bounce here. So I don't know. It looks okay. It doesn't look bearish necessarily to me unless it gets below 660. One stock I wanted to talk about today that was kind of buzzing in the in the bra world, and that was this Microvision, which this thing came back from the dead, and this year, and they're trying to. This is the latest GameStop play, and this thing went from $10 to 31 here this morning. I came in wanting to short some. I had to borrow. And I just didn't sell it. I mean, literally, I didn't get any pre-market. This was really, really pre-market, 4 a.m. here. I was definitely not even around for that. And then it traded down to 25, bounced into the open there at 27. I wanted to hit it. I totally didn't sell a share. So there you go.
Sometimes you get up to the plate, man, and you just
I don't like to sell right off the open. I wanted a little higher. I was being greedy. I thought we'd come and test maybe the overnight high. And we didn't. And that's where you just have to have a little on. Sell 1,000 shares, whatever. Just get a little baby position. But
sell 100 shares. Sell 10 shares. Sell something.
I missed the whole thing. So there you go.
All right, we talked grains yesterday. They're pulling off nicely this morning. I'd be very careful to be long these grains if the price action stays where it is right now and they put in these massive doji candles on the daily, beware. Let's move on to crude. Tell me what you think. I mean, I think this is basically 6 weeks now, fairly sideways.
Yeah, chopping broccoli.
Chopping broccoli, but for me, since it's been so active, I think this thing's going to break out one way or the other, and I don't know which way yet. It's kind of just sitting there between the average on the weekly and the upmo level, and it can't really penetrate or close above or below either level. So that's what I'm kind of keying on in crude right now. Those levels for me, they actually made that low this week there. What is it?
Here, I'll bring up a chart. For me, unless we get below 59, I'm not that bearish, quite honestly. But it's still, this is a 1 month chart we're looking at, still pretty bullish. I'll scale back a little bit. But again, as long as 59 holds, this is not looking particularly weak to me. You got a lot of support back in here. So 59, watch that 59 level. That's kind of the meridian line for me today. Stay above it, it's bullish. Stay below it, it's bearish on any closing prices. So
right on. I actually have that level 58.63 as my weekly momentum level. And
yeah.
So same area,
Yeah.
Two different methodologies. And you got to get above, and they're close, 63.60, 63.48. Check that, 63.48 up mo on the weekly. Need to see him close the week above there to really start tooting that bull horn.
Right.
All right, Matt.
It's a weird day, it's a weird day, Bob. Again, like the Nasdaq and the SPOOs were off pretty hard, and the Russell's just green. So once again, when we have these divergences going on, people are piling into the small caps today, and they've sold it's not a big sell-off. I mean, we're down 60 points on the Nasdaq and 4.5 on the SPOOs as we speak here. But it's pretty quiet again this morning, and we're just not getting any ranges. I think we need a shock to the system. We need something, some news event, some false narrative, some flag, something just to get us going. Because it's just quiet. It's really a quiet market, Bob.
They say, Matt, sell in May and go away.
Yeah. And we're in the heat in the middle of the earnings, and so far it's tepid, the response, whether it was Netflix, whether it was Tesla. I'm just looking at the big names so far. We got Amazon, Apple, Google, all to come yet. But once that's done, kind of to your point, I don't know what else fundamentally is going to be driving this market, for the next 3 months. But the market hasn't responded very aggressively either way to this news. So it's just kind of been like, to the earnings. So it's kind of been like,
All right, man.
Yeah.
I think we got a quick one today, Matt.
Well, we got, I thought we were going to talk a little crypto, and we are going to talk a little, how Davy Boy now is.
Hold on, let me bring that up. Let me bring that up. Let me find the tweet, because he was crying a little bit, right?
A little bit.
Just a little bit. I missed the Bud Grant stare.
Yeah. Again, I provide the content. My producer is not so good.
He provides some of the content. The Dave Portnoy tweet was, so am I understanding this correctly? Elon Musk buys Bitcoin, then he pumps it, it goes up, then he dumps it, and makes a fortune. I own one Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is exactly what we thought it was, a la Denny Green, when the Cardinals gave away the game to the Chicago Bears. Dave, you're still a little Denny Green there. Bitcoin is exactly what we thought it was. Just don't be hodling the bag when it collapses. And getting back to Tesla and their performance, that's a giant boost on their bottom line, the value of the crypto. And as we saw this weekend, it can evaporate just as quickly as it has rallied. So interesting.
Well, here's what's interesting is what he's saying. He's like, okay, now Dave's a risk manager. Interesting. That's interesting in itself. And then if that's the case, maybe you might want to lighten up today, Dave, because Penn Gaming is up 4%, almost 5% today, and it's off that low. It's off that low of 85. So here's your little break. It's got a little gap up here, but again, Dave, there's all kinds of double distribution ahead of you, whether it's the $104 level or the 117. This thing is broken. It is a broken chart. And again, there's so many, every day somebody's coming public and there's a new book and there's this. how much I mean, again, now that it's kind of like the marijuana business, like we see it out here. There's 100 stores, and you and I talk about this all the time. Who goes into each one of, like, is there enough business for each one of those 100 stores when there's only what, 4 or 5 OLCC liquor stores in the town? Like, it's bizarre to me. And
well, it's almost
and gambling is kind of the same thing. How many outlets, how many places do you need to go place your bet? There's not that many active, people that are doing this for a career. So we know that. So, do you need 100 outlets where you can go on an app and place a bet? I mean, what is outside of the content, which eventually, as we know from watching ESPN or any other entity, has a lifeline. And I think in this world, the Barstool thing has had a long lifeline already. But how much of their fundamentals can you base on the content that they spit out every day to get you to gamble? Because that's what the bet is now. It's not even Barstool's, they're not even, they're making money on advertising for sure, but the money still comes from gambling, right? But how much of the pie is there to go around the myriad of places where you can go place a bet? And do you really have loyalty to any one of them? Do you really?
No chance. I mean, you'll put the money where the best odds are for sure. It's almost like a commoditization of a service, right? It's always a race to the bottom when you do that. And they better find a way into Macau, right?
Yeah.
And get Barstool Asia going.
I mean, seriously, this is the thing. If you're not going after where the money's going to be, which is going to be in Asia, and you should be in Europe. I mean, Europe's, like you said, notorious punters, but that's what makes it so difficult. There's already these entities that are going public and are already operational. Good luck, dude.
Good luck. On Patty Brokers, to be exact.
Yeah.
Patty, I'm looking at the chart, Matt, and if they can't recapture the numbers, 99, 91 is the weekly momentum level, but it's kicked down, and there's just falling away potential in this thing. And the only thing that stabs that, right, and it's a similar area for you, is to get back above the meat of this profile. And there's a lot of wood to chop to do that.
A lot of wood, yeah.
And so
I think this magnet at 70 is calling, and it's just a matter of when, not if. So. Again, don't hodl too long, Dave. Don't hodl too long.
Well, at 70, he'll be hodling a half off sale.
Well, at 70, then I'll be telling him don't hodl too long for 40. Don't hodl.
Slowly we turn.
And we've been doing this since 140. So it's we'll see how long it takes to go from 140 to 40, but it will play out, Davey. It will play out.
All right, Matt. I got to share one other thing. Hold on a second. Today's segment brought to you by Shrimp Mojo Rub, the best goddamn shrimp you'll ever taste, Matt. I wanted to point out,
I made some Sunday, and it was gosh darn good, Bobby.
Damn good. Speaking of, sometimes when you talk about climate change or global warming, people think you're a denier on humans' effect on the planet. And it couldn't be farther from the truth, right? As far as I'm concerned. I just want to point out to people that there's much bigger drivers of the equation on CO2 than they're telling you. And nobody wants to challenge China on this. And so please don't call me somebody that's anti-environment. And I wanted to share this because for me, what goes into my body is incredibly important. And I love this little guy because I didn't know this, Matt. And it's about pesticides and produce and which it's expensive to buy organic. And this environmental working group has the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So it's nice to know which produce things that you buy have the most pesticides on it, and maybe shift some of your dollars on those ones to organic to avoid it. But it blew me away to see this list that strawberries, spinach, collard greens, nectarines, apples, grapes, cherries, peaches, pears, bell peppers, celery. I mean, what do you got to spray the celery for? And tomatoes have the most pesticides on it. Anyway, just a little help here from your friends at marketvitals.io on some things maybe you want to go organic, right, Matt? Maybe we could do some price discovery. Let's look at, come on, off the cuff. Let's look at Whole Foods. When was it? Have we ever looked at Whole Foods?
Well, Whole Foods is owned by Amazon now, Bob. So,
Oh, that's right. All right. Well,
so I would love to, but it's not going to happen.
can't do it. I forgot about that. Great purchase by Amazon, by the way. All right,
Yeah,
Matt.
so they
I'm
could
gonna,
shift.
go.
So they could shift to more pesticides.
It's interesting to see. Like who knew that strawberries are the number one
Well,
thing for pesticides?
listen, they don't last long if they're not sprayed. I believe that.
I got to tell you too, man. I was in Ireland, and there was somebody was selling strawberries on the roadside.
Yeah.
So we stopped and grabbed some, and they were not like the strawberries you see.
They're probably a little smaller.
A little bit smaller, and man, what a difference in the
And
flavor.
they packed such a flavorful pow that you were like, man, I want more of these, right? I think you should be.
We were actually hunting out another roadside sales stand between.
Well, I mean, you grew up in the Midwest, didn't you guys have like, in the bogs and the wetlands around your farm? Didn't you have like raspberries and stuff all the time? We did all over.
Dude. Not raspberries. What was the?
We had all those blackberries, raspberries, boysenberries, Marion.
What the?
Everything.
Oh, that's gonna piss me off now.
And then we'd go tromping through, like right, especially up in northern Michigan, by the lakes. You'd get off the, you'd take the Betsy River or the Platte River, and you'd canoe to the end to Lake Michigan. They'd pick you up, and when you stopped there was like right along the river. You just get in the river banks, and there was like raspberries and boysenberries, and you could just go pick them and eat them while you were waiting for the ride. So awesome. They taste amazing. So much different than, like you said, the monster apple-sized strawberries that are grown in a house somewhere. I don't know where those are grown, but those big strawberries they don't even taste like anything. They're
disgusting. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. I'm going to head to the mountain for some high-speed turns. We got a bluebird. I think we got a bluebird up there today, and I can't wait to get up and.
Yeah, I can see the mountain.
I'll check in.
All right, man.
All right, pal. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.